And here we go, Rossa, Prada Pirelli against American Magic. On the left-hand side of your screen, Rossa, Prada Pirelli, American Magic. The real question we need to understand is what the conditions are like out there. I think we need to go straight onto the water with Nathan Outeridge right there. And Nathan, talk to us about the conditions.
Yeah, hey Stephen, how you doing? It's getting a little bit patchy out here. We saw the guys training around before, foiling nicely, and right now I'm just next to Rossa, Prada Pirelli. They are under tow. The chase boat is towing them up onto the foil, and I think that's an indication of the breeze is dropping. You know, you can see in this picture right now, of course, there's enough breeze to foil. We're not going to have an issue with the minimum wind strength, but it is light, it is patchy, and it's a very different day to what it was yesterday. Plenty of spectators out here, and going to be a really tight tactical race.
Which side of the course is going to be stronger?
Well, initially I was looking that the right-hand side was going to be stronger, similar to what we thought it was yesterday, or what it was yesterday. But the clouds are starting to slowly dissipate. You know, we've got a lot of cloud cover at the moment. We're seeing a bit of blue sky, and we're seeing puffs of breeze dropping down on both sides of the course. Current-wise, there's a little bit stronger current on the right to the left, which means that I think you can get out of the current a little bit easier on the left-hand side. So it's more of an open course today than what we saw yesterday.
So Nathan, we know that the Italians have been shown to be a little bit better in the light stuff. Would you classify this a light air day right now or a medium air day? Who do you give the nudge to when it comes to how they have set up and motored their boats?
Yeah, currently right now it's definitely a light air day. It's averaging 10 knots, but we're seeing as light as 8 knots, and 8 knots is a marginal foiling tack, foiling manoeuvres, gusting 12. So it's light to medium, and it's going to be about execution of these manoeuvres and keeping the boats foiling and ripping.
Nathan, if it was you at the helm of one of these boats, where would you be going? What would you be doing?
On the spot.
Wow, I definitely would be protecting the right-hand side. I think it's better on the right than the left, and if I had to pick it, I'd be wanting to start to windward and rolling into that early tack.
Sounds very similar to yesterday, doesn't it, team? That right-hand side where Ineos Team UK got all their glory from yesterday. They will be second up, but this is round robin 1 and race number 3. Rossa, Prada Pirelli have port entry. They can't go ahead of 2 minutes 10 seconds, and they are in and on their way. And then they'll be followed in on the starboard entry by American Magic. And this is where yesterday we heard plenty going on.
Yeah, they're barely staying on their foils right now, Shirley. And they could get clipped with a starboard tack boat coming across here. American Magic on starboard, and wow, looks like the Italians just get across, and they're struggling to stay on their foils.
American Magic did a big upwind just to kind of show to the umpires, hey, look at us. We had to avoid them.
Let's take a listen and just see what both teams are talking about right now.
Copy.
This is all about being on your foils right now, Stephen. We saw some of this in the pre-regatta, in that World Series event. They need to try to figure out a way to get up on their foils. Both of them down right now. We're obviously going to race. They've started the sequence. There is no penalty on that dial down. And by the way, I agree. I don't think there was a foul there too. But this is just a panic situation. Get up on the foils on both boats.
This is a race to get flying, and it's very light now in the start box. Only 8 knots of breeze.
Press if you can.
49 seconds to race start.
Pull the way, Kiko, racing, pull the way.
Rossa, Prada Pirelli back up on the fours. That's a strong sign for them.
They're up, but no way are the Americans up. The Americans are struggling to get up. We know the foils on the Italian boat are really big and kind of built for this type of condition. I mean, this race could be over before it starts if they could just figure out how to stay on the foils.
20 seconds counting to the start.
Full speed. Yeah, got to go below.
Yeah, all good.
Full speed, retro.
Trim, boss, trim.
Nobody cares about the time right now, Stephen. It's just stay on the foil and get over that line.
Good pressure after the start.
However you possibly can.
In the water.
So officially,
Coming
race
up here.
underway. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli. Round
race with the wind,
race
okay,
number
guys?
3, and
Height is good
they
for
are
pressure.
off and racing. American Magic still not on their
Don't cheat it,
foil.
please.
When you can, please.
More function up, guys. 12 knots.
This just throws.
Oh, that's pretty good straight ahead,
We knew this could potentially be sailboat racing like we've never seen before, but this just throws an incredible wrench into the situation for these teams. Falling off your foil can end the race immediately.
It's so high risk, isn't it? And we've seen, when Nathan said pre-start, they were towing around just to stay on the foils. I mean, the Italians doing double the speed coming off that line of their American opponents.
Well, the good news is American Magic is up, and you know, Nathan, the funny thing is, they have a small jib up. So if you're at home right now, seeing these boats struggle to get up, why not just add more sail area? Why take that risk with a small sail plan and risk kind of having a game-ending moment like this?
Well, about 20 minutes ago, it was about 3 knots windier, and just as they entered that pre-start, the breeze, for whatever reason, just completely shut down. There's still plenty of breeze on the course, don't get me wrong. In the top of the course, there is breeze again, and particularly in the middle where we can see American Magic tacking just next to us. But that starting box was lighter than both teams expected. You know, sail area is horsepower, and that really, you know, keeps you up on the foil, but neither team was expecting it to go below 8 knots there.
So let's go back to the start. Let's just remind you what happened in this race 3, round robin number 1.
Carnage. Really, we saw the Italians barely get across a starboard tack boat. Remember, the Americans have the right of way as they dialed into that starting box. But then both boats fell off the foils right after this happened. And by the way, the Americans protested, and the protest was not upheld. The jury decided that Luna Rossa did get across legally, but as we can see, it was close. Then it's just being on the foils, you know, who both teams fell off, who could get back up first, and that was the whole start.
We've seen Prada pretty slippy in these light winds. They just seem to get out of the water, get unstuck. They're just slippier than I think everybody else. Also, running today asymmetric foils. They've got the old foil. You can see it now on the starboard side. And the new foil that we've just seen in this Prada Cup on the port side. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see how they get on with it.
Similar speeds by both teams going on the first upwind leg. 27, 28 knots for Luna Rossa, and a similar number for American Magic.
A real funny puff to windward. Don't know if we'll get it.
Yeah.
1.8-mile racetrack here. We got 3 laps to go around.
Ready for ease.
Careful on the main sheet.
They're not
2-1.
being shy on the left side of the course right now. Nathan, is there enough pressure out there? You know, yesterday we saw the teams battling for the right. Today, they seem not too leery of that left side.
Good pressure in the exit.
It's definitely more open today. There are streaks of pressure, and where Luna Rossa have just taken now, they've taken a nice piece of pressure. You know, these guys have got to position their maneuvers in good breeze, but I'm just positioning the camera boats right up near the top mark right now. The left turn, if they were to take the left turn, is going to send them into what looks like very light wind. So I expect both boats are going to need to position themselves for a right-hand turn. And just as I say that, I can see American Magic off the foil, completely parked right now. This is getting from bad to worse right now for Dean Barker and his crew.
The real question here now, Shirley, when you take a look on board Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, is how Bruni and Spittle manage these conditions with the advantage.
184.
That's a good question, Stephen. I mean, as Kenny always says, keep your opponent between you and the hoop, and you just have to keep an eye on your opponent, and also old school kind of sailing, eyes out the boat, what's coming next, and try and join those areas of pressure together. And we can see that, well, we saw that in that shot on the left-hand side. Lovely little puff to take them into the top arc.
They're going to be ignoring their competitor right now, right? This is all about just staying, anything you can do to stay under pressure, and I don't think they'll ever look behind again for the rest of the race. Just look for the pressure to stay on the foil.
Their biggest risk is when they fall off that foil. And we saw that before Christmas. You can go from 0 to 0 very quickly.
Good pressure, good pressure.
Okay, mine. Good puff here. Let's try and take off. Hold jib there.
Every
No
Italian
time on jib.
fan of the world's heart is in their
track up,
mouth
boys.
when that happens.
He's in the water, okay? So it's
Copy.
all about staying out foiling.
It's going to be an early jibe.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no rush, no rush.
Copy.
Thank you, Francesco Bruni, for
Auto is
confirming
good
what
there.
the
Auto is
commentating
there,
team has been talking about. So that's good news.
Nice smooth barrel away.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and clear. Nice and smooth.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli around the mark for the first time at the top gate of this third race of Round Robin Series 1. And you just know, if you look at that clock on the bottom right of your screen, that is going to blow out big time.
Yeah, painful. Painful situation if you're a fan of American
Trimming
Magic
up.
right now.
Pietro, please. On trap.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
brings a whole
Stand
new
by.
world
I think a little further
into
here.
these matches
Yeah,
in this
still
light
left
air.
the base.
Whole new world.
3.
Well, if we were to look forward to the next race, which has features Ineos Team UK and the discussions we've been having about light air, there will be nerves.
I don't know if you saw in that pre-start, but one of the shots showed Ineos in the background.
Not more speed is okay.
Hold on, let's cut that VOD, and are we going to get up?
Yeah, agreed.
Very high driver, max power.
I'm watching their boat speed. It's a critical
bit more so
number
for the
here.
riding.
And
We have
16,
lighter.
17, 18 knots. It's right on the edge, isn't it, the cusp of being able to fly.
Rossa here.
Come to window, yeah? Come to window.
Yeah, we'll see
New
what we
puff
get.
coming in 5, guys.
Shirley, just a quick update from on the water right now.
No
Like
more wind
Luna
on
Rossa
in.
took that left-turn mark and sailed to what looked like to be less pressure.
Yeah, take off.
They are now sailing directly back upwind again because the next line of pressure is actually coming from the other side of the course. So it looks like they're going to be sitting and waiting for another 20, 30 seconds, but potentially enough breeze to get foiling again soon. But what a race. This is not what we were expecting about 20 minutes ago.
Very tricky conditions here, Nathan. We've not seen this yet in the racing. It's cloudy. We don't get a lot of that here in Auckland. Really, it feels just like we're on the edge of something happening with the weather.
15,
Not both speed.
16.
Just a reminder to you watching this third race
What do you want to do
to
then?
complete Round Robin 1 in the Prada Cup. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli has already been around the top gate, and the gap to American Magic is currently sitting at 2 minutes and counting. They are yet to get into the top gate and around.
Well, it's not too early to start talking about the clock, right? This is a 45-minute race limit, time limit. So if the race doesn't finish, if they don't do 6 legs, now they can shorten the course, which, by the way, they may. But still, this 45-minute time limit looms, and it's always in the back of the sailors' minds that if you're Luna Rossa right now, if you're Prada Luna Rossa, that's more of a challenger than American Magic is right now, right?
Spot on. I mean, I'm just looking at their numbers. They have 8 knots of true wind speed. They're doing 12 knots of boat speed. I think 16, 18 knots is the magic number, and they're a long way off that.
Nice and smooth here. A displacement drive.
Imagine how that feels, Kenny, on board.
You know, the whole sailing world, a lot of the sporting world is watching you right now. Why don't they just get up on the foils? Well, it ain't that easy, folks. This is a real struggle for these boats, obviously. In the super light breeze, they don't have code zeros on board. They don't have big asymmetric Jennekers on board. I was kind of half joking with a couple of the teams after the World Series event that we saw. Why don't they carry asymmetrics and put them up in a situation like this? They don't think they'd still finish at the time limit.
Also, it's a massive foil in the water. All that drag. It's hard to get up and running.
That's what you would call well and truly beached at the moment. It's not a beach, but they look pretty much beached right now. That's Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, whose lead continues to stretch out because quite simply of light here, but they did manage to get around the top gate for the first time. And American Magic are praying for some wind, trying to find where that wind is coming from. When's it coming? 4 minutes and 30 and counting.
But the 4:30 doesn't, in a way, doesn't mean anything, right? I mean, but I totally get it. We need to judge them about something. Like Nathan just said, they're actually going back closer to the mark right now just to try to find some wind. Remember the World Series event where Luna Rossa was way ahead. The Kiwis got on their foils and they put a half a leg on them in no time. So in this type of condition, nobody's ever out of the race. So that's the good news. Look at the two boats are on opposite legs of the on opposite legs, and they're going the same direction.
Well, we've just heard that they've actually shortened this race to 4 legs. That probably still seems like a long way to go.
Particularly if you're American Magic. Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli have plenty of supporters at the America's Cup Village, and they'll be happy there at the front, but there are still 3 legs to race.
Best pressure looks over here at the moment.
Let's have a listen on board. Let's go on board Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, see what they're thinking right now. They are the ones in the lead, so to speak.
Easing here for sure.
Okay, just pressing a little here.
Pressure, easing,
Up.
and trimming. Yeah.
Channel picture.
7 knots.
Just a reminder, it started out as a 6-leg race. We are now down to 4 legs because of the wind conditions. We know the race committee and all of us watching this want to see these races completed. This is the Prada Cup Challenger Series.
Good gust up here. We've got a good shot.
The winner of this whole series goes on to challenge Emirates Team New Zealand in the Cup match starting March 6th.
This is our up here.
Good pressure in 5, eh? Take off here, guys.
Go camp down.
Ready to trim all the way. Stop in front.
And by.
They will
3,
be patient
2,
supporters today.
1, pump.
Just like
going to be straight into a jive here.
They're pumping the mainsail to try to get the thing up on the foils.
Doesn't matter the boundary.
Just in time, just at that
Okay,
boundary.
come on this side. Be a takeoff for sure.
Yeah. Easy mention first. Coming.
Hey guys, just quickly from on board here, American Magic are close to taking off the top marks. There's breeze that has come down the course. If they can get up on the foil, there's a chance of a lead change coming here. So just be ready, it's coming.
I can hear the whistling of their foils, Stephen.
As soon as we can jive.
Anywhere you like.
American Magic up and foiling and finally around their mark at the top gate. The gap 7 minutes 38 might mean nothing at the end of this. If they have found the win, Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli are in trouble.
I think Luna Rossa just popped out of the water at the same time. So obviously this breeze just came across the course. Both boats are now out of the water. We're back to game on. And that, by the way, that whatever the time was is absolutely irrelevant at this stage. We're back to a ball game.
7 minutes and 38 seconds.
Nope.
Just reminding you.
Sorry, pal. Don't mean a thing right now. What means everything is obviously, Nathan, that puff that you saw that was coming down the racetrack seems to have come across the race course, and they're going to be able to stay up.
Yeah, Kenny, the pressure's definitely come down the race course. You can see both boats up and foiling now, but American Magic seem to have stronger pressure. Luna Rossa are going on that far side from them now. They're going down, I guess, the right-hand side of the course as you look downwind. But it's probably 11 knots where American Magic are. And Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, these boats are so fast, they're so efficient. They're actually sailing out of the front of the pressure. So I can see this race getting closer and closer this whole downwind.
Very good point. So, Stephen, you're looking ahead on these boats. All of us have been looking our whole lives at breeze behind when we go downwind. These guys are sailing continually into lighter air ahead of them on Luna Rossa. So, yeah, that's going to mean that this could be a complete restart here, and these boats could be right next to each other as they are in no time.
American Magic closing in on Luna Rossa. Prada Pirelli, look at the dashboard. Sitting at just under 28 knots.
Great pressure his way,
And
okay?
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli sitting around 21. So this has truly turned into game on again, Shirley.
It's so nerve-wracking, isn't it? I mean, no, nothing in it. Absolutely nothing in it.
Oh, Luna Rossa is almost off their foils again.
Nathan's right. You sail on a boat this fast, you get in front of the puff. You get back into the no-wind area.
Let's have a listen on board American Magic, because he is certainly holding on, Dean Barker.
Yeah, they're launched. Right now, they're launched. Now, do they sail out of the breeze again, Nathan, or can they stay in it on that side of the race course?
Tell you what, if they make this jibe and keep it on the foils, they could disappear here. But what I'm actually seeing, we're on the other boundary. We're a long way from them right now. But it seems like the breeze is just not going down this course. It seems like about halfway down the track, it's only about 5 knots of breeze. So I think we're going to be very stop-start down this run. I think the lead is going to change a bit. You'll get a puff, you'll get up and foiling, and then you'll just sail out of the front of it again and then just stop. It's going to be an incredibly frustrating downwind for everyone.
Take it all down towards the mark.
We heard Barker say, come on, breeze. There is a chance for all of us as sailors, Shirley. We do beg from time to time. We beg for help from the wind gods. Neither of them got it in this particular case.
Your best build
Not
may
much
be the
wind
other
where
way.
they are. 7 knots where American Magic is now.
On board American Magic, who have cut a lead that doesn't mean anything anymore, but they were behind 7 minutes and 38 seconds, and now both are stranded somewhat again on this course. Let's have a listen.
Your car out. Banner.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, what's going through their mind?
It's hard to figure out what direction they're going at this stage. Here they're jibing, I think, at the border of the race course, back on starboard tack, and 45 minutes is looming, isn't it, Shirley?
American Magic currently
shows big
ahead,
lift over there,
but I'm not sure how much
and he's
that
kind of
is.
parked.
Yeah, I think he'll be thinking about
No, it's just 45 for the race.
going. So what we don't want to do is go too far and then find
From a pressure perspective, this is the best spot for me.
Maybe you can call Louise.
Yep, standing by. Go out. The only thing is current's better down the side, isn't it? If we don't get that foil, but
If we're not going to foil, you got to get going that way as well. Just right left at the bottom.
The Italians are parked at this stage. This is incredible.
A little pressure to come. Still doesn't look like enough yet, though. A little more ease in the jube, I think, from me anyway. You can see the leach there. So good pressure up on the left.
2 laps now.
On board
Speed's building.
Prada Pirelli, you can hear the voice of one of the helmsmen, Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni, the other one, saying, it's building, Kenny, it's building, but we're just going to have to wait and see how quickly it does build.
I think I keep heading to this puff, Beatrice.
yeah,
7-minute lead disappears
coming
to
here for us.
7 minutes behind right
Trying to
now.
use this to build.
But again,
2.5 delay at this.
current going with them, it looks like going downwind with them, which isn't helping, by the way. That actually hurts. That actually
So
slows
thinking
the
about
wind
the
speed
beat,
down
the
for
absence
these
of anything
guys.
else, you'd take right gate, and protect against the left pressure. Looking upwind.
Hey, Ken, just looking up the course once
Right now,
again.
it looks
There's
like
a huge lead
there is
now
a
to
chance he's
American
gonna get
Magic,
enough
but there
to
is
get
a
going up
small
here and,
puff coming down. And if Luna Rossa can pick up that pressure, this race could change once again. But to me, this race reminds me a lot about these marginal foiling conditions. We all know foiling is extremely fast, but once you're not foiling, you're basically a stationary object. So the decision right now for these teams is, do we just drift down at wind speed at 4 or 5 knots of boat speed, or do we actually sail across the course 90 degrees, you know, to the wind, making no VMG at all? You know, but if you can do that and you can get up on the foil, which it looks like Luna Rossa just have done as I'm speaking here, then all of a sudden you'll be doing 30 knots again. So it's all about, from here for Luna Rossa, if they can make this next jibe and keep the boat on the foil and start linking these puffs together, the person who can do that all the way to the bottom mark is going to have a pretty commanding lead.
Only a 30-knot speed difference between the boats right now, Nathan. 30 knots.
Yeah, I think we've got a hold here at the moment. We've got to push this boundary.
Yeah, can these boats have 2 speeds, flat out or stopped? And right now, one of them's doing one and one's doing the other.
Is okay. Tighter here. Tighter, trim.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, back up and foiling on the second of a now 4-leg race, race number 3 of round robin series 1 to complete the first round robin phase. And that will make the fans that are at the America's Cup Village supporting Luna Rossa very happy indeed. I've got to love Nathan's line, linking the puffs together.
It's not easy when you're going this fast and the wind's traveling at 10 knots at best. I mean, that's really difficult, Stephen. We're just 16 minutes into this start. Remember, a 45-minute time limit, and we've heard the guys on board start to work it out. But one more lap to go after this.
Rolling into a jibe here pretty soon. 3,
51 knots.
2, 1, down. Because obviously they're committed to taking off straight out of this.
Oh, the frustration. Honestly, you can't underestimate the frustration in a situation like this.
Especially building a little bit more.
That will make all the supporters of Luna Rossa very happy indeed. Falling towards the bottom mark.
Funny waves over the stroke.
Careful, don't jinx him. Don't give him the commentator's jinx here.
My rudder.
Well, normally we'd probably be halfway through on a good
my
3 legs. We're trying to complete the second leg. Now a 4-leg race.
The Americans are close, 22 knots. That's a good speed. They should be able to top that. Sure enough, they do. They're out, and they're going to be going 30 knots. This race is not even close to being over, right, Cheryl? Not even close.
No way. If you're Luna Rossa, what are you going to do in this next leg?
Sorry,
Where are you going to go?
No, it's all right. It's just light, that's all. We might get there.
Speed for the jibe.
I have to love the calm demeanour of Jimmy Spindler. I've never heard anyone so cool under pressure. Okay.
Good anyway, just keep the speed.
Yeah, just straight turn.
Yeah. Trim, boys.
A little power here if you can.
Trim.
Turning in 3, 2, 1, turning.
Okay.
Okay, no more main. I'm just a little tight rudder.
Prada Pirelli around the bottom gate for the first time. The next time they hit that gate, if they are
normal,
they will win the race.
That was so critical. They just made that mark, Shirley. You heard Francesco Bruni say, sorry about the ley line. They actually cut that ley line shy, but did a masterful job to get down to the mark and not risk another jibe and potentially coming off the foil. So that was really important for the Italians in this part of the race.
Yeah, crucial moment. You cannot afford to come off the foil.
American Magic approaching the bottom gate for the first time. The lead a lot slimmer than it was the first time around.
3, 2, 1, turn it up now.
That's how you cut a lead down from 7 minutes and 38 seconds to 60 seconds.
I'm going to take this clock away from you if you're not careful. both boats, I've never said this in my commentating career, both boats had a half a leg lead at one stage during this race, right? Half a leg lead, and the race still isn't over. It's not even close to over. Another one of these little puff lull situations, and we're right back to a big lead change. So hold on, folks. This is welcome to the new America's Cup.
And a little bit more pressure coming.
2, 1, one down.
So Kenny just cruising up the side of the course right now next to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. They're in a great piece of pressure. Looks like it's left phase, but at the top of the course, it's looking glassy again. So I think they'll make this next tack on the foil, no worries, but it's what's going to happen in 3-4 minutes from now that could really determine this race. I hate to say it, but I think we'll have another car park at the top mark.
190.
It's never over.
Shirley's got a big grin on her face. I mean, I feel terrible for these sailors. We know how frustrated they are, but at the same time, this is entertaining for a light air race.
Prepare for the marginal deck. Speed, 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 speed. Pressure coming in 5.
5, 3,
Pressure here. Yeah.
2, 1, 4 down.
We're hearing from Francesco Bruni, who steers the boat on the port side.
Am I right?
Calm voice is holding on.
Mine, Trev?
Yeah, close.
Jimmy, what's the problem with the slider?
Yeah, I was getting jammed.
Okay, copy.
Right, Trav.
So you know how to do it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to fix it now. Okay, trimming up.
Yeah.
Is to lever, is stack to lever.
It's got a little more build here. Got a little too much bite in the back of the boat.
Copy.
Okay, good numbers. Start coming on the breeze, Pietro.
Manage a little bit as soon as possible.
Looking for power, boys. Going light.
Yeah.
Full power mode here. Very soft up here.
Yeah.
36 is the boundary stroke. We're going to make aggressive speed build here. Building at 2.
Looks like this breeze better than boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not quick enough here. Standing by. 2, 1, 4 down. Turning.
You heard Dean Barker say aggressive speed build right here. I think it becomes irrelevant that they're even heading towards the mark. They want to just go as fast as possible before they go into a turn to stay up on the foils, right?
No, I agree. I mean, Dean went into that tack in 28 knots of boat speed, and we saw they had a, well, they're in. And they had a tiny touchdown at 18 knots.
Over here. Kind of a choice.
And now they're in.
It's going to be a super marginal tack.
Tell you what, Prada is not in good shape here right now, too. They're only 20 knots. That is dangerous. They're coming down in this.
Very soft out of this, boys. Okay, going takeoff mode.
Take off.
You can't go into manoeuvre sub 20 knots and be confident of coming out flying.
Displacement to lever.
And there's the perfect example of what you just said, Shirley. Touchdown, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Still with the lead, but
Pressure.
Here we go. Both displacement trim, until we see something to take off.
Coming up with the wind, boys.
basically coasting.
Restart time, though, again, if you're an American Magic fan,
See, guys, we'll be
it's
nice and
exactly
low on
what
this.
you wanted to have happen. If they're just
Aero
both
mode, boys.
foiling around the race course for the rest of the race, you're probably going to lose. So, Nathan, is there any puff coming to either side, to either one of these guys? I guess for the Italians, at least they're kind of upwind of the Americans. So if something comes to the Americans, it's probably coming to them first.
Well, Kenny, that's bang on cue. Right now, both boats are parked, probably about 6 knots of breeze, but we're just on the right-hand side, almost on the ley line to the top mark in the camera cat, and I've got 10 knots of breeze. So the first person who can get over to this right-hand side of the track should be in good shape. Luna Rossa are much further upwind, so this breeze is definitely going to get them first. The real question is can they link this pressure, get around the mark, and keep foiling downwind? Now, you definitely have the advantage if you're foiling, if you're ahead upwind, but if you're not foiling downwind, I think that boat behind is going to pick up the puff. So more breeze coming. We should see them both foiling in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Nathan, you're in this displacement mode. I mean, what do you do? How do you set it up? What can you do?
Well, you've got to decide, are you trying to go for takeoff or are you trying to go slow? I can see right now, looks like American Magic tacking Very slow right now, but to take off, you have to ease the sails. You have to let the sails breathe. You have to get the boat flatter, or maybe even heel to windward, generate some speed, and as soon as you get enough speed, you go flaps down on the foil, generate the lift, trim the sails on as fast as you can, and like pump it up. And as you can see here now, Luna Rossa up and foiling. They got that pressure nicely.
Very good pressure.
And as you can hear Bruni just say there, pressure is at North Head. That's exactly where we're sitting. And if they nail this tack, I think this could be a huge advantage for them.
This tack, boys.
And the other part of the equation is this 15 minutes and counting now to go to the 45-minute time limit for the race. And we've only got, when Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli complete their turn around the top mark, one leg to go. So is Mother Nature going to play ball and see this race completed inside 15 minutes?
Pressure all of this.
Was that a question? Because I don't know the answer.
Well, you know what? I was sort of just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's good. That's why you're the best in the business, Stephen. This is just about being on the foils.
Pressure's all right at the moment.
My trap, easing here.
Pressure's all right, Spindle says. So that's where they are on the race course, and that should be advantageous. But like Nathan said, connecting the dots downwind has the boat ahead because you're going so much faster than the puffs. You know, that's the thing that we all have to get our heads around. These guys are connected to the puffs in front of them downwind, not the puffs behind, like most of us mere mortals sail in our normal boats with spinnakers and asymmetric spinnakers. They're looking ahead for their puffs. And if it's light air down the track, you're just not going to go anywhere until it finally catches up with you, until these slow-moving puffs catch up with you.
It must be an incredible test for a sailor trying to fly these boats.
Around the way.
Well, I mean, they know their boats inside out. And actually, it's a joy, isn't it, to eavesdrop into that speed communication between. I mean, it's fantastic on Prada. We hear Jimmy, we hear Bruno. You know, we hear the flight controller Sabello as well. I mean, just tiny detail makes a massive difference into the spiral of getting the boat flying.
Trimming up, boys. Big trap, big trap.
Yeah. Big trap, big trap.
Go, Jim. Jib on.
It's interesting, they keep calling for big trap. That trap is barely moving.
Well,
it's moving
we're
really
either going to tack set or we go straight and early jibe.
Yeah.
Easing, horse banner, power.
Quickly, it's soft to get at the top mark. This is a pretty stressful moment for Luna Rossa. They're barely foiling and it's getting lighter.
Chicago almost losing the rudder a little.
Sorry, yeah. Chicago is fine. No rush. There is a decent pressure on the left mark.
Out
No rush.
up 40.
Not too bad. Not too bad on the left side.
Copy.
Those are the voices of
Early
Francesco
jibe.
Bruni and Jimmy Spithill.
2-1 clear.
Easing.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli now on the homeward leg. And time is counting.
3, 2,
But they are through the top gate for the last time on this shortened race of now 4 legs.
Yeah, all good, PJ.
It's all on them to stay on those foils and complete the race before 4 o'clock this afternoon. So they've got 12 minutes to get to the finish line.
Okay?
So that was interesting. You heard Francesco Bruni call for a Chicago.
We all know what it is now, Kenny.
It's that 2 foil in the water jibe, right?
You stay there, Pietro, okay?
The jibe, yeah.
Stand by jibe. 3. You are there, PG? 2, 1. 4 down. Very light on the minor. They're running the pressure, obviously.
Yep.
Nathan, they're literally just jibing right down one individual puff, aren't they?
Not too bad.
They are exactly. I was about to come in. They're about 200 meters wide, this skinny little puff.
Big trim,
And
boys.
Big trim.
there's no pressure on the right-hand side of the course right now. It's just this skinny little slither of breeze down the left that they're trying to stay in, but they keep running out of the front of it.
About running it all the time. 2, 1. Just watch the kink, you got to keep turning.
Yeah. It's turning.
And what a different story on board American Magic. The cow makes its presence felt again. Well, that's the cow noise. And they have not been foiling for some time and yet to complete the third leg. We know we are on the final leg for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. And they seem to be picking up speed and finding some wind.
But for some reason, I think this race is not over. I don't know. Call it a male intuition.
You've been calling that all day. You're waiting for this to close up again inside 11 minutes.
I like tight boat races. This is not one as we speak, but it's just a minefield of light air out there, and you just never know when it's going to bite you. Never know when it's your turn.
Standing by.
The Italians sailing pretty high angles, even though they're flying. I mean, they're bouncing off those boundaries.
It's literally, Shirley, anything they can do. Head upwind, downwind, any direction, just stay up.
If you are just watching this for the first time, the boat on your right is Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They are on the final leg. The boat on the left is American Magic. They are yet to complete the third leg because they have been basically hit with calm conditions and looking for the wind, trying to find these paths. It looks good at the moment for Luna Rossa. Not so for American Magic.
They're up on the foils, though. That's the good news is. So they're one drop down ahead. But these guys are going 40 knots in 8 knots of breeze. How do you... What is that happening?
Be a little soft out of this.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny, we're in the camera cat chasing them. They managed to get through the center of the course, which looked like it was glassy.
Okay, my trap, we've got a good
Picked up
path
this
for 5.
puff,
We're just
but
waiting for it.
12 knots of breeze, but it's super narrow. And, you know, they've got a huge lead, but they've got to keep jibing down the other boundary now if they want to keep it on the floor to the bottom of this course.
Nathan, is it your impression that the Italians, they're quite slippy? They seem to at times just sort of kiss the water.
We've got a little time here, I think.
Manage to get back up again.
Stand by. We'll just get this
Shell, it's a great point. Their foils are bigger, so they appear to have
a little further.
better control, better lift at lower speeds, but the hull also, I think, is quite streamlined. The hull can touch, it can skim, but it doesn't have too much drag.
Pull forward.
And they're very calm on board. We've all been listening to them. They sound pretty calm. They sound like they're pretty composed and happy to do lots of manoeuvres. So, they've still got a few hundred meters to go here. And again, they've just outrun this pressure. But from what I can see, they should be able to keep it on the foil to the finish from here.
Finish line where? The bottom gate or start? Okay.
3 minutes, not over.
You got green, yeah?
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on the run home in race 3 of round robin 1 and closing on their first point of this Prada Cup Challenger Series. You can see the finishing line with the magnificent Rangitoto in the background.
All the way to boundary and drive. Trim.
Francesco Bruni says all the way to the boundary and jive. They like the pressure out on this side of the race course right now. They're just trying to survive this at this stage.
I love that shot from behind, just looking how clean it is. The main, there's no visible boom. It's just tidy and beautiful and aero. Great design.
They put an exceptional amount of camber, amount of curvature in the bottom of their mainsail, I've noticed, especially compared to American Magic. So they really add depth, especially on the leeward side, on this, the left-hand side on this twin-skin mainsail, add an incredible amount of depth.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli about to finish and win race number 3 of round robin number 1. And why wouldn't you be happy after how this race has unfolded with calm conditions? But most importantly, in this Prada Cup Challenger Series, Luna Rossa get their first point on the board and beat American Magic.
Okay, my rake coming up in 2, 1, nice and smooth. Trim.
So when you talk about an ability to manage a race course, today, Luna Rossa did the job.
Did the job. They probably have the horse for the course a little bit, right? A little more slippery, maybe a little bigger foil set. Certainly, you know, like we said, we talked about the camber that they can put in this mainsail setup. Hey, give credit where credit is due, right? You win a race, you win a race. But at the same time, Shirley, you got to feel bad for... these guys were a half a leg ahead at one stage on American Magic, and a lot of times it's a bit of the luck of the draw maybe at the same time. I mean, again, I'm not trying to take anything away from the win by the Italians.
Yeah, we just heard quite an audible sigh from the helmsman on the American boat, Team Barker. This is tough. But I agree with you. I felt the Italians were a little bit slippy, but also just listening to the onboard comms, there's a lot more of it today. It was very calm. It was very confident. Obviously, you know, they know they're quick, but even when the Americans were ahead, they just kept it calm. They kept talking it through, looking for the next opportunity.
I'm going to avoid the clock and the gap to the team that finishes behind Luna Rossa, because it's immaterial now, because it's going to be quite a large gap. It will be in the record book. Do you want to put a number on it, Kenny, just for the heck of it?
I'm not going to take your bait on this one, there, Chief. I'm going to stay away from the clock and say that, like the Queen said a long time ago, or somebody said to the Queen, there is no second in match racing. So I don't think the sailors consider the clock an issue.
And Stephen, for this team we're looking at now, they have another race.
You may have not heard my earlier transmission,
so
but that race finished at the last lure gate. You have completed the race.
Okay. They'll be pleased about that, actually, because they need to regroup. They need to get their head into facing Ineos in not very long from now.